I live, I live, I live.
Hi guys, LeaRadio Al here. Just wanted to show you something real quick. I'm going to do a video on this radio probably pretty soon. This is a Lear radio. Interesting story behind this radio, but we'll get into that when I do the video proper. I started restoring this, or repairing this radio, and it was missing a rectifier tube. And according to schematics, the LeaRadio model 662 through 665 uses 35 Z5 GT rectifier tube. And as it was missing the tube, I went ahead and ordered one online. I didn't pay too much attention. Got the tube in. This is a 35 Z5 GT, as the schematic calls for. Unfortunately, what's wrong with that picture? Yeah. Well, the direct replacement, or not the direct replacement, but for the replacement tube type for a 35 Z5 G tube and a miniature tube, it's a 35 W4, and I just happen to have one of those in my tube box, so stuck it in, and without doing anything else to this radio, fired it up, and it's the right tube. It works. So just a little object lesson of don't believe everything you see or read, believe what you see. I should have paid closer attention to the tube type, but the rest of these are octals, so I thought, okay, didn't really even look at the tube socket. So there you go. We'll see this radio in a few seconds, which in real time is not a few seconds. It needs to be totally recapped and checked out. So, all right. Oh well.
Have got another on in the state of California, if it's alright to know. I want a little girl to be of mine in the winter time. And when the rain starts raining, the snow starts snowing, we have to turn on your radio. And look out, Jack, you better take it slow, else the chicks are raring to go.
Well, there it is, guys. It's back together. It's I don't know how exactly to describe it. It's not a really, great looking radio. It's not anything really special. It's, except for, it's got a very interesting history, and that's what really drew me to this radio. Let me tell you its story. Well, to start off, a few weeks ago, Bobby, Technical Abyss, contacted me, and he said he'd found this radio up for auction on eBay. He knows that I like different, in my radios. Of course I do the Philcos and the Zeniths and that, but I also like radios that they're not real common. And this is definitely not real common. They just didn't make a lot of these. It's a LeaRadio, and as it says on the dial, LeaRadio is one word. It's a Model 662. It's a 6-tube and All-American 6 with RF stage. When I was researching this radio, I looked on Radio Museum, and lo and behold, there was a radio that YouTuber Jack LeClaire had uploaded a photo of. Jack has a lot of videos posted, lots of radios and phonographs and the like. That's Jack LeClaire, so Jack has one of these also. And as I said, what I find so fascinating about this radio is its pedigree. William Lear, the owner of LeaRadio, Bill Lear, he was just an inventor of the first magnitude. He invented a B battery eliminator as early as 1924. A battery eliminator for a set with AB batteries. He worked for a succession of different companies on his way up. He worked for Grigsby Grinnell. He worked for Magnavox. He designed audio amps and speakers for them. Then he went into business for himself, building radio coils for different radio companies, among them Zenith. Then he traded that business, his radio coil business, for a 1/3 interest in Galvin Manufacturing Company, and you're probably familiar with that name. With Galvin, he designed a car radio that was named for a motor, and it used the suffix "ola." That was in popular use back then, the Victrola and the Radiola, and that was, of course, the Motorola. And then in 1934, he founded the LeaRadio Corporation to make radio and navigation equipment for the aircraft industry that was, up and coming. So then, naturally, when World War II came, they were a big-time war contractor. I think they made more navigation equipment than radio equipment during the war. Then after the war, he opened a plant in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think they were based in Chicago before that, but he opened a plant in Grand Rapids, and that's where this radio was made. There's a tag on the chassis that says Grand Rapids, Michigan. And you just don't see very many of these sets. I did another eBay search recently, and it turned up exactly 0. No hits. No manuals, no ads, no radios. The back has the loop in it, of course, as you saw earlier. It's a tube layout on here, and it has erroneously the wrong rectifier tube on there, and that's what I was basing my assumption on when I stupidly ordered that that octal tube to go into a miniature tube socket. Pays to pay attention, guys. So anyway, like I said, nothing really special about this radio. It's redid the top. It was in very bad shape. I used some dark toner. I just couldn't make it look right with golden oak. And I didn't do much of anything except feed and wax the rest of the cabinet. Just don't know what to really do with these blonde cabinets. I wanted to keep it as original as possible. This is a replacement grill cloth. I think it looks okay. Original knobs, on-off tuning tone and on-off tuning, on-off volume, tone and tuning. And that's about it. The rest of the Lear story, or well, not nearly the rest of the Lear story, but going a little further with it, after this, Bill Lear went on and he invented the 8-track tape player. He's the guy. And then even later he moved to Switzerland and formed another company, and you know, everybody has heard of Lear jets. That was his company. So he went from making B battery eliminators and car radios to building jets, business jets. Now you could go on about Bill Lear for a long time, but if you want to know more, you can certainly look it up. There's a lot of information on the internet about him. But this channel is about radios, and this is one, so let's give it a listen. Plenty of tone. It's Colin James and the Little Big Band. They were big during the late 90s swing revival. Thought I'd play something a little different on this different looking radio. So there you have it, guys. It's the LeaRadio Model 662 from 1946. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, Bobby. More radios on the way.